Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Late Paper Dreamers. That's us. We are Late Paper Dreamers. We be dreaming late at night. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I have to drive back to my city, which is an hour and a half away. I'm going to be going to sleep at 3 o'clock. How are you feeling? We've been taking shots. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
This is dragon juice. Alexandra can't have any more. Cheers. Pour some Coke in there. Oh, no, it's fine. What have we been doing for the last, 10 minutes, hour and a half? Not this setup, but... Actually, no, let's talk about this setup. We ordered this before we started the podcast. Actually, this is the one that you picked out, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get another one or something like that. It's a tapestry. Sorry to break the fourth wall, but obviously you can see that there's a real wall over to the left and right of it. I was hoping to cover up the whole thing, but, probably get another one, maybe. Yeah. We've been, I guess, setting up for like an hour and a half now. I'm sorry it took so long. But yeah, this is our review of chapters, what are we at? 11 through 21, 20? 11 through 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Of the book. I think next time you said that we're probably going to just do 21 through the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I basically read about 10 chapters a week. And so, yeah, that's probably like going to be the end of the book if I read 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and start off with chapter 11.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 11. She actually wants to be a writer. She wants to do the gauntlet. That's where we left off, I think, with Violet being discouraged by Doug. I almost said Doug. What's his name? Dane. Dane. Dane's getting on my nerves. I hate Dane. I used to like Dane. Like I was like, why do you dislike Dane? I know you dislike Dane. I hate him. Like
he's so annoying.
He's like overbearing. He's like I like how they write Dane, because I realized this earlier that he's very imposing with his like protection, but he's also very nuanced, and I appreciate that they made me like him at first, like how Violet does, and at the same time, well, I disliked him way before Violet stopped disliking him, which makes sense because that's Violet's best friend. But like for instance, if I was a writer and you were Dane, right? You need to like believe in me, even though I'm weak as hell and you're a badass. Like if I get the biggest dragon, like that nobody's ever seen before, and I'm, killing stuff and I'm really, really doing a good job, I would hate it. I would feel like awful if you were like, no, that's not your achievement. You're not good enough. You need to go back to whatever you were going to do before. Write some poetry. Go back to undisclosed city that I live in. It would make me feel really bad. And I think I experienced that through Violet early on in chapter 11. Because I think that's when he was like, you can't do this. You're going to die.
He was still trying to convince her to leave and go to the scribe quadrant.
Which isn't going to work, right? Because her mom's going to know.
Yeah, like she would... The way the general is so set in her ways, she would like still find the way. Like, okay, the next year you're going to go back, because she told her point blank, like, yeah, Sorengels, I don't care what your father was a scribe, like, from my line of the family, like, we've all been writers, so, you're going to have to. And I, like, Dane It's like at this point, like what it's been like some months in, and at this point, like Dane like give it up, like and she's shown in some aspects that she is capable, like
Yeah.
even if it's not the
Because people have died, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's more than like 20% are gone at least.
yeah, and she's still there, and maybe it's not the typical way like someone would go about to like survive, but like she's still doing that and like showing a lot of cunning, I think.
Yeah, and she used to be like she was trained to be a reader, like she was trained to learn, and the fact that she can, I get she's Soren Gale's daughter, the I forget what her first name is, but like the general's daughter, but 2 months of training is not enough to survive in this kind of like atmosphere because people are dying left and right. She's just born to be this good, but the only way that I'm realizing that is via her actions, because nothing that anybody's been telling me or nothing that anybody is like relaying to me, she's not believing in herself. I mean, she is kind of like being like, maybe I have hope. At literally chapter 11, she's like, maybe I'm getting something that I didn't think I had before, which is hope, which is crazy that you'd even be like, because low-key, if my mom sent me somewhere, I'm going to keep trying to escape as many times as I can if that place is going to kill me, I'm going to take Dane up on his offer. But also fuck Dane because she's like obviously talented enough to be a writer, even if she isn't strong, which is very terrifying. I remember texting Alexandra this, right? Do you remember me being like, if Violet had strength that anybody else had, she would be ridiculously like capable. I think that speaks to her cunning and dexterity. But I don't even wish she would give herself credit. I like that she doesn't, and I like that you can see her take on people. This is chapter 11, so I'm going to wait to talk about who she's fighting later on. But all I have for this is that she scales the gauntlet, that American Ninja Warrior wall, and survives without having to, fall to her death, which is great. I think the scene is she stabs it with her knife or something like that and lifts herself up. And then Amber is really mad about it. Right?
She's like, you're not following like the rules or whatever. And very much so in this sense of like Dane, like rule follower, like to the
T, yeah.
Yeah. And then Zayden swoops in and is like,
I mean, he's the one that's like her squadron leader, and I like the moment because she set up the scene really well. I think because I'm reading it really recently. I think Zayden was looking up at her, waiting for her to give her response at why she didn't fail, which is Dane and Zayden are such like opposites as far as like how the writer's writing it. Like, this is how you should treat somebody as an equal. And this is how Zayden's trying to kill her, or like willing to. But other than that, he's kind of treating her like she has like her own agency, which is nice. And Dane is the opposite because Zayden is looking at her to give a reason for him to, he does this like 3 times throughout the book so far, where he's like looking at her to make her own, choice because he believes in her, Yeah. Even if he's like against her,
letting her grow to her potential and like
I think he's just expecting it though.
Yeah.
Like he expects her to have that answer. You know what I mean? Which is, he said he's interested by her, so that's enough, I guess. But he's like, it makes it feel really genuine that he expects her to have that answer. And her answer is basically the tools that you come here with, or the weapons and everything, is basically a part of your person. And so that is that she used part of her person to scale the wall. And she stabbed the wall to get up there. That doesn't translate into writing later, but, and Amber's really mad about it. She's a narc. Zayden smirks a little bit, which is great. Zane's my favorite character. I'm going to dress like him for the foreseeable future. Chapter 12. Presentation. That's scary. That was really scary. That was really scary. There was a that walk and then people died in it was like the perfect balance of like, I guess, casual banter, because they have to talk, right? Like you have to talk so that you can get chosen by your dragons, right? But if you say the wrong things, which nobody seemed to give a fuck about, right? Like they were just saying like, I'll kill that dragon. Like I'll kill Andarna?
Yeah.
Andarna, which is a little baby dragon. Is she green? Is she, what color is she?
She's like gold
She's gold.
and yellow.
And she's a little baby.
Yeah, and Jack is like being usual Jack self, and
I hate Jack, but whatever, I hate him. I'm glad they're
Same.
killing off the annoying characters by
Right.
fire.
yeah.
I like that, like, I think the author also knows that we don't care about some of these characters. I forgot who died. I don't remember her name, but she was really annoying in the book. And I think the author did that on purpose. And I was like, I hope she stops talking. And the author's like, shit, bet. And then just kills her on the way out. Rydick, really sweet dude. I thought he died at that. Do you remember they were walking back from the presentation thing, and they go back, and this is after everybody else died, and they feel the sorry, what's her name? Sorengale feels the heat behind her of somebody getting scorched, and who's behind her is Rydick and Luca,
Yeah.
really annoying as person. And I remember thinking Rydick died, and I was like, I actually really liked him. But he's alive, and I was really happy about that. They do a good job at describing, I guess, the differences between some of the characters as they go along. So instead of like giving the description of them up front, later on it's like Rydick's fluffy hair or whatever, and it makes me feel like, oh, okay, I'm putting this image of them together, which is like, I think you said that most fantasy books kind of like information dump on you a little bit with the description, which happened to me with Harry Potter. Like I was like, okay, I got it, but I'm never going to get it again. They can be anybody that I want to be, but now I have like such a solid image of them. And I listened to the podcast, not this one, but I guess it's an audiobook on the way to Nashville of chapter 18 or something like that. And it was just like, when it was just like not what I wanted, I guess. It's not what my mind had made. And that's a testament to how good the characters are built in my head over time, which is dope. So presentation happens. We lose 2 people. That's all fine and good. Sorengale gets sniffed out by some green dagger tails. That's crazy that I remember that. I'm really happy about that, because her sister's dragon is, one of her sister's dragons. It's also a dagger tail. We've been taking shots. We've been drinking dragon juice, which is non-alcoholic. Don't demonetize us. I'm not getting money yet, but like, come on. That's all I have for chapter 12. And then the real stuff happens, which is threshing. The thing I did not expect to have, I thought threshing was going to be at the end of the book, personally. It's one of my favorite parts of the book, where she really gets to show that she's well suited for the squad, I guess. She's fighting people, fighting Jack and Orin, and who's the other one that gets toasted? Tynan, or whatever it is.
Whatever his name is, over in Darna.
Yeah. I hate that she like hurts her ankle. I don't hate it. I love it, but it sucks, Like I love that she's so weak that like if she makes any wrong move, her joints are just not strong enough to handle some things, because she doesn't do that. That's not her thing until like 2 months ago, or 4 months now, I guess. But she sprains her ankle, and then like, if you've ever sprained your ankle, it sucks. Like it really, really sucks. And the fact that she's like still willing to face down 3 people for a dragon, which is like built into her character, right? She gave her boot away. All well, good, all really good. I think, and she fights them. Oh yeah, and she's actually a badass about it, which is like seeing her like I thought. Do you feel like throwing the daggers is a little bit cheap? Not cheap, but like a little bit of like a insta win. Like anybody, I guess, could throw a dagger, but like that's her thing, you know, because her
Yeah,
hits are
like
from throwing, right?
yeah, and we're like really like compared to everyone else who has like brute strength or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like or really nimble and fast or whatever. That's
Yeah.
like her specific strength. Like you don't like
Do you take that away
hear,
from her?
huh?
Would you take that away from her? Like, be like, that's just like something anybody could learn how to do.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't like.
You think she's special for she's better than other people with that?
I think she utilizes it more
Yeah.
than anyone.
There's
Like,
a line that I think Liam says, who you said is your favorite character right now, right? He's basically like Zayden said that you had more than extraordinary skills with the dagger, which is enough signaling to me that at least Zayden knows that she's capable.
yeah,
In that moment in chapter 12 where she's fighting three of them off, and Zayden's like behind you, even though he's not supposed to interfere, he's narrating, which is great because I feel like Zayden doesn't fuck with the rules anyways. And she still kind of like comes out like I feel like if like she was gonna, I don't remember her losing, right? I don't remember her ever getting like if Zayden didn't say anything, she'd be dead. But like I think she could have gone like a little bit longer. You know, I think she could have taken him a little bit longer. Especially Jack, who's like can't use his right arm. He needs to stop fighting her, right? Because he keeps losing, which is hilarious. And then Big Black Terrence.
Terrence swoops in to save the day. Though I do think it's important to note that when Jack's like, "Yeah, you can't do anything because you can't be involved," Zayden does
Oh yeah,
try
he
to
snarls.
step in. Like,
Yeah,
like he has a brief moment where he's like he would break the rules before Terrence shows up or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And he does that in the face of Dane later too, which is like I don't even know her like that. I'm willing to go out there and break the rules, and I don't really care for somebody that I casually just enjoy being around, which is like a testament to how dope a character Zayden is. Because I feel like he doesn't have, like, it's one thing to hate on somebody who's like hot. It's another thing to hate on Zayden because like he deserves to be hot. Like he's gone through a lot, and he's like the character that you always want. Like he's complicated. I love it. I've never I've seen characters like Zayden before, but I think that he has enough depth for me to think he's three-dimensional, and that makes me really like him because he's just a well-written character. Anyways, and Darna flies away because she always could have, which made me laugh. And then I guess oh yeah, Taryn can read her mind, or listen to her thoughts, which is going to be the most hilarious stick I've ever heard throughout the book. I like that a lot. It's really funny to me. How do you imagine Taryn? Like, do you think he's like how do you, when you read him, do you hear like what I hear?
Yeah, I guess I would say that, but I think like almost like Ian McKellen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, literally, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Or Patrick Stewart. Yeah, I think those two would probably no, not Ian McKellen. That's probably a better one because like it's an older British sarcastic dude who's definitely at least bi, and I think that works pretty well. I was listening to the podcast, or no, I was listening to the audiobook of it on the way there, and I remember thinking like it was a woman doing it, and she was doing a great job with all the voices until I got to Taryn, and she was just like, well, if I wanted to drop you, I would have dropped you. And I was just like, this is so corny. But I'm imagining a British dude who's really old and sarcastic, but he really likes this girl. And I love that all the other dragons are killing him. He's just like, no, you're good. I'm like, I like him a lot. And then Narna's really cool as like, you know, a kid. I don't know what
Yeah.
her familial lineage is, but I love all of it. Yeah. All right. I'm not gonna go chapter by chapter anymore. I'm kind of gonna skim through them, because there's the next few are kind of like big events that happen back to back. Um, I think this is when all the dragons meet after threshing, and some died. One of the characters died. I don't remember their name. I remember texting Alexandra like, "Who the fuck is?" Do you remember I texted you
Was
like,
it
"Who the?"
Trina?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is? A
No,
footnote.
not really. She was like briefly like
Yeah,
involved.
that was
But
funny
yeah.
because like everybody was sad about it, and I was like, "Word." I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know who that is." Um, oh yeah, chapter 15 is when they started talking about like when she actually got to the field and she was uh her mom was like, I want her to say what Taryn's name is, because this is dragon has never been bonded in like the last how many decades since Brennan, right?
Yeah, so
No
that's
black dragon has been bonded since
that
Brennan.
was
Brennan's savior.
it's been 5 years we know since Brennan's death.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
before then
Well, the writer
it
had
had
to
been
be older. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know how many years, but it was like a while before he bonded to that
Yeah.
writer.
And I think that was like I've been trying to figure out who she was gonna get, like the dragon wise, because I didn't think she was gonna get the black dragon. I thought she was gonna get like Andarna as soon as she came into the thing, but to have her get both of them just validated everything that
Yeah.
because the book doesn't tell you that she's capable ever. It kind of makes you feel that way, and then getting Andarna and the dragon to be voices of confirmation that she is capable was literally everything I needed and more, because it's literally like confirmation that I'm not stupid or crazy. I thought I was reading it wrong or something. I was like, she doesn't believe in herself, but there's so much evidence to me that she's like really good and capable. She followed 3 people who were supposed to be like top of their class. And then the dragon, I think, said something to her. She's like, "You followed three people at once with a sprained leg, and you're still saying that you're not worthy to be my writer." And I was like, "Cool," but she still has to walk up his leg, which I thought was funny. I'm imagining him like they said he bowed to let her up, right? How does that look? Is he like bowing, or is
I
he
think
like?
he like lays down and like puts his
Oh, really? Oh,
hands
that's so
out.
embarrassing. That's so embarrassing.
I
That's
can
worse
think
than I
about
thought.
too how like, he's one of the like biggest dragons.
Yeah,
So
but he doesn't care. He's old, and he knows he can
there's
talk his
something
shit.
he knows like deeply inside her. Like it's like the realization that she hasn't had yet that he's like
Really? Okay, I like that. I mean, well, I feel like I also have that realization because, like, I didn't think she could make it in the beginning. Like I even said last podcast, I don't think she's meant to be here. But now I'm like, she's so much stronger than everybody else. Because if you haven't noticed, she has had at least 2 severe injuries throughout the entirety of this book. And like if it's her shoulder, her back, her hands. That's right. That's the other thing. Violet has a whole dragon, like a really big one, and is the only writer in history to be bonded with 2 dragons, which is insane to me. I remember reading it and being like really shocked that because obviously like I was kind of had the inkling that she's better than she lets on, like better than maybe some of the first years, but I honestly think she's top class
yeah.
as far as strength goes, which is crazy. And so when she did the roll call and the scribe was taking the names or whatever, and her mom was basically like, I want her to say it. That made me so mad. Because by this time I'm very invested. Things are happening back to back. I'm like, okay, cool. I like this pace. And then her mom is just like, I want her to say it. And doesn't look at her, only looks at her dragon. And I know that there's some history going on with that, especially since the dragon was there when Brennan died. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I assume that her mom knows about that. I also assume that her mom knows something, and that's why she's in this whole thing in the first place. But the fact that she doesn't look at her daughter really bothers me.
Yeah.
Also,
And to go on that kind of same fact is like Dane's reaction to finding out that Violet has two dragons, and it's like, oh, you need to pick like the weakest one or whatever, and she's just like, what?
literally makes no sense. I mean, he has a reason, but still, like,
It's
Dane
just,
is. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, he's like, no, I think you had mentioned this earlier. We were just talking about like, oh, you need to like, I'm not telling you all the information you need to know, but you just need to trust me, even though they hadn't like,
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
had
yeah.
like a tiff or whatever, and they
Yeah, yeah,
hadn't
yeah.
like
Because he doesn't
spoken.
present it like, hey, that's Zayden's dragon's husband, and if he dies, you die, and he wants to kill you, and this is going to be awful for the rest of your life. He presents it as like, this is what you need to do now. This is what you need to do because you've listened to everything I've told you so far. She hasn't. I don't know why he feels this need to control her so that he feels better, and that bothers me a lot. I think that I think that I liked him in the beginning, and now I hate him as a character. I hate people that try to control other people, and just because, like, he's her best friend, like he should see the potential in her. And yeah, I could rant for hours about how some of the lines that Zayden says just kind of cut really deep, and it bothers me because Zayden, the person who literally wants to kill her, or not wants to kill her, but like has said that he would, if he just got bored, is the one that sees the potential in her. Like Zayden has not once not believed that she had the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's the only character, including Soren Gale, that actually believes in her. It's crazy that her enemy is the one that is her lover. Sorry. But I like that. Like if it was just one note, friends to like just like enemies to lovers kind of thing, then I wouldn't like it as much. But I like that Zayden has some sort of like antithesis to him, which is Dane. Complete opposite storylines. Best friend turned enemy, enemy turned lover. But also they made Dane kind of like that kind of, they're very much the opposite, right? Violet's also ridiculously horny. She needs to calm down. It's crazy. But anyways, the unbonded. The unbonded are scary to me. Because it feels like there's always just like a target on their back. They're like 4 months in by now, 2 months in or something like that.
Something like that.
And they have a whole year to go with these people that want to kill them. Obviously, once they manifest their signet, they're going to be not killable as much, I guess. But the unbonded are really scary, especially Oren, who she lets survive because she's too nice. Yeah, I think I like the chemistry between Violet, Taryn, and Darna. I like everything about that. Like that is like every time I get a little bit comfortable with everybody, they introduce new characters who have the chemistry. Like I think this is what comes from writing romance, like interpersonal relationships and stuff like that. It feels really organic, feels really nice. Yeah, I think you said you thought Taryn sounded like Ian McKellen, which I agree. Old British dude, very sarcastic. And I like the part where he's like, they're doing practice and Taryn kind of like does extra and she falls off because she tells him to let go of the magic bands or whatever. Great insight on her character being the type to not, like she has to do this. And also she wants to do it, which is crazy now that she's realized that she's able to do it. And now she really does want to be there. And I think she always has, which is like, an unreliable narrator, when they're like telling the story from their point of view. I feel like Violet's kind of an unreliable narrator a little bit, because she doesn't believe in herself when she's able to do things. She's like, I'm too weak. I'm the weakest in my class. But she's not, right? Like she's like she hasn't killed anybody, but she's like wounded people
Yeah.
severely when she could have killed them. You know what I mean? At like 3 at a time. She's fought multiple people. Speaking of which,
Yeah, going back to the unbonded and how scary they are. Orin and the group of people attacking Violet and her
that was so
room.
like that caught me off guard for sure. It was at night, but like I think it was a daytime scene, and it turned straight into like a dream with her dad. And I know you were going to talk about this part, but the dream with her dad, I think, seems significant, being that scribes hold the most power in the political spectrum or whatever it is. I don't know what the power is that books give them, which I love the idea of. But she wakes up with Taryn yelling at her, which I don't really understand how Taryn has a nose. How does Taryn know? Exactly.
Really, I don't remember.
I don't know if he knows. Does he see through? He sees through her eyes, but he doesn't see like what's going on around her, which she's not awake, right? So how does he know that they're coming to kill her? I don't know. It's probably just like dragon things. But I like that. I like that he invaded her dream because he can do that, which makes her feel like less vulnerable to me, and
Yeah,
so that's
and
nice.
The fact that I think that chapter ended on like Zayden bursting through the door.
Sorry, I just
I think that chapter ended on Zayden bursting through the door, and like then it shows Andarna's power for the first time. Like she stopped time, which is like very significant. Like
yeah.
unexpected because she's so small and young. She's like a child, and like everyone thought she was weak and didn't expect her. Like,
do dragons that young usually have strong powers, or is it like Andarna's also strong?
I think it's kind of a combination of both, but like Andarna's a feather tail, and her like I guess species of dragon isn't bonded often, and I don't know if that's like a mistake of like them feeling like they're weak, but
she's a feather tail for now though, right? And then she turns into another thing. Well, she said I'm a feather tail for now, right? I think feather tails are like babies. Let us know in the comments.
Right. Yeah, you might be right.
We haven't read this book.
But yeah, anyway, the gist is like she's like really young and should not be bonded at this point.
Yeah.
And that leads to after Zayden like helping Violet out or whatever, they go and see their dragons, and he knew about what was going on because his dragon is bonded to Huron or whatever, and then they have that whole discussion like, okay, we cannot let anyone know about Andarna's like power.
Yeah,
like they would,
which I asked you to explain earlier, but then I was like, wait, save it for the pod, because I don't understand how Andarna can give away her gift her power away to people because she's a feather tail. Like when they're young, when dragons are young, apparently they can gift their power away, and it's different than channeling. Do you know how that works?
I don't really like. I kind of don't get how it works. Like, because I know like they have their what's his name? Sawyer has like, he's like a medalist or whatever. He can manipulate that, and there's all these other ones of like Zayden with his like, but that didn't happen until they bonded with their dragons.
Yeah.
So
and I wonder like,
or because she's so young, that's the only way she can do it.
Take away the power. is it better that way? Like, is that stronger? Because I feel like that's something that they would want, an unbonded. Like, they
Um,
can take her power away, and so it's stronger. Is that right? Like, the power being all the way. Instead of having to channel somebody else's power, you're channeling your own.
yeah,
You're channeling and you possess the power, I think, because instead of channeling, you're gifting it. Is how I was kind of reading it. And Darna no longer has that. She's giving it away. And
yeah,
I think that's interesting because if you're bonded to her, then like you can freeze time. And obviously, I think was Andarna speaking to her during that? I think she was. And oh yeah, because she was like, I can't hold it anymore. So I guess they're both still doing it, but I guess it's just stronger than you know. So I'm guessing that all the dragons have their powers, and all the riders channel a less extreme version of it. But with her, she can channel Andarna's power, but to the max extent. If that is what
yeah.
is what I'm assuming. But apparently, it puts a lot of strain on the dragon's life force, where channeling doesn't. That's the only complicated thing in this book, but it really I skimmed. I just ignored it. I was just like, cool. I was like, word.
Yeah.
I was like, Alexandra will explain it. Meanwhile, 5 shots in, nobody's explaining anything. Anyways, yeah, that was cool. Zayden is dope. Zayden is a protector. He protect. He killed everybody in the room, and Violet was cool with it.
No.
But she also admitted that she doesn't kill people. I think Violet and Zayden's chemistry is really dope, especially after the attack, because you see him believe her because he already knows that she's capable via Liam telling Violet that he believes that her dagger skills are wasted as a scribe, So I know Zayden believes in her, and also he's shown it a lot of times. The fight with the fight in the bedroom, right? When somebody from the squad captains, the squad
Oh,
the
Amber.
wing leaders,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that was a big deal because they were trying to figure out her Violet and Zayden, like how did they get into my room, and it had to have someone that had like signet power that could work, and
Yeah, yeah,
she was like, I recognize this person, and it was Amber. And
yeah. The one that was against her breaking the rules, allegedly, even though she's only been training for 2 months. Like, chill out. It's okay. It's not that deep. She picked the locks, right, and then let six unbonded people in. Is that right? Yeah, which is like a big breach of the codex.
yeah.
And okay, I have his name here. Pancheck called a meeting in front of everybody to be like, I'm gonna put like we have some business to put out. Somebody has to speak their mind, and they have to air out whatever it is, because it's a big what would you call it? It's a big dispute or a big issue to break the codex as a squad. Oh my god, I'm forgetting the name.
The wing leader.
Wing leader.
Yeah.
It's a big issue to accuse a wing leader. It means death. It's a big issue to be a wing leader who's broken the codex. It means death. And so it's like really impactful because they set that up early with those little quotes. And I think that when the scene came on, right, because I'm imagining it as a TV show in my head, and they're just in the squad in the rotunda, I think is the word for it. Also, what the fuck is a dais? A dais?
So like a
Podium?
lifted, yeah, kind
It's a
of.
podium? Okay. Just thought so. But basically, I thought that was really impactful because things just happened back to back to back. And so you have, them being casually there, the death toll comes on, and then Banche comes back on the stage, and he's like, okay, everybody, we have to sort this out. The accuser is going to come to stage and is going to, confront the accused, and it's Zayden. And this is meanwhile Dane having one of the most like out of body experiences that I've seen described before. And I really appreciate that Dane's so layered. And I get that he's really protected. Like I don't hate Dane because he's him. I hate him because he's him. I hate him because he's like, too protective. But it also is what makes him appealing, I guess, which is like he's really disturbed by seeing Violet's hand, like the prints around her neck,
Yeah.
right? And they've already established in the previous one where Zayden confronts Dane about it. He's like, "Would you let her die for the rules?" They've already established that he said he would, right? He said that to her, and then kissed her, and then and I hate that Violet is so like confused about it, and I think there's a lot of like metaphor. I think there's a lot of like sympathy for assault in these kind of things, like whether it's a sexual assault or it's like just assault, physical assault. I think there's a lot of issues that come with victimizing people or like victims, and when they don't want to like accuse the person who's assaulted them. And I think that's a really good analogy that the author's making. Like, what if it's not sexual assault? What if it's just assault, right? And that's the case with Oren and all of them breaking into her room, and the squad leader or the wing leader, Amber, being the one you don't want to like she's a wing leader. Yeah, like she's trying to take it back. He's like, I didn't know it was this bad to have justice for something. Like it's her fault that she's gonna die. I think there's a lot of issues that she's bringing up that's like guilt, when you're the victim. And I hate that Violet's going through that. And what makes it so bad is that Dane is literally being like stoking those fires, right? He's like, this is your fault. Like, go up there and take it back. Like, go up there. Like, she obviously didn't do it,
Yeah, he's not believing her, and he's so sad. She's like, oh, she always follows the rules or whatever. And what you said earlier about like the assault and everything is, I think it's interesting how Dane was so struck by seeing the bruises on Violet's neck from the attack, but then like him using his power to be like, hey, let me see the memory, like, and he has to touch her physically to do that, and she was just like, you didn't even ask me, you didn't ask my permission. Like, that's a boundary, another boundary being crossed after this traumatic experience has already happened.
I was terrified for her. Like she has secrets. He didn't care about that at all. Like, as from somebody who channels that, he, like, I think they described it as like him reaching out with his hands, like to grab her. Like, that's so cool that I feel like the writer thought ahead of time, ahead of it, to like think like, how would he use his power so I can make this problematic, because imagine a giant man being like show me, I need to know because I control what you're doing and what I know is best. And in this moment, you're about to get somebody I probably fucked in the past killed, and I don't believe you because at the end of the day, I know more than you do, even though it's what happened to you. I just know everything because I care about you, and that justifies me being in control. Like, he just wants control, and he's not willing to see that she's her own person, and that makes her an object to him. And I think that they keep on bringing it up, and Violet keeps on saying like, he won't say it, whatever it is. I don't know what it is yet that he won't say, but I feel like it's going to be a moment where he's going to say it. And it's probably going to be something like, I don't believe in you, which is like, obviously, but I think he more sees her as like something to comfort him, as like somebody that he cares about, to like, all he cares about is himself and what he likes, but he's masking it with kindness, you know what I mean? Which sucks. And I'm glad Violet's realizing that, because Violet could kill him. Like, I like high key, like Taryn's right above him. And I like that moment where Taryn was like, I'm going to kill him. Like, he, like, before this, he's like walking up to, to them. I forgot what chapter it was, but he's Dane's walking up, and Taryn's like snarling, and he's about like he's like on attack mode, and she like gets scared by Tyrion being on attack mode because she didn't see it at first, and he's like, tell him word for word, I will like burn him in his spot, and like she's like, he's just walking up, and like Tyrion knows something, which is like dope. I love that Tyrion's a ride or die, because he's mad at her for something, you know, that she can't control,
Yeah.
and everybody on Violet's side is just perfect character written. But in the moment when they're doing the judgment thing for Amber, and she dies in a brutal way, and Amber can't do anything. I know people who've gone through assault, sexual assault, and it's not a pretty thing for them to deal with, because you think that, okay, just tell somebody, but then you have like that happen in that process, and it's a big questioning thing, like, hey, was it worth it? Like, this thing wasn't even that big a deal. Now they're having real consequences for what they did, but it's because I started that, you know, process. Like, I told somebody that they assaulted me, and now it's like, I like this moment because it shows how bad it feels, you know. We do poetry, so we love little metaphors like that. But yeah, do you remember, like, I think the worst part was like the dragon's feeling. Do you remember how you felt when?
Yeah, it's I felt like extremely bad because I mean, I don't think Violet was in the right, like, you know, like she was trying to give her another chance, and I think like as cutthroat as the whole atmosphere is, like, okay, you can't do that, you know, because they're just gonna come right back to you. But her dragon, she was like begging
Yeah. Oh
it to
God.
help her, and
Yeah.
like, but Tyrion is like, you know, the biggest dragons, like there's
Yeah.
no way, like he was,
The rules are against
yeah,
the dragon. Tyrion's just gonna kill her. He's gonna kill anybody in the way, which is like the way it, like, that's how it's gonna be. I mean, I'm not faulting Tyrion, but you know.
I mean, he's looking out for the best in terms of his writer. So
Yeah, and it's really sad. It's very sad, and that's chapter 20, right?
yeah.
That's where we left off. Really sad note, but it makes me want to read more. Hey, so I'm not sure how much caught on the last little bit that we were talking about, but we'll probably just insert the audio from it because I think that we had a pretty good conversation. The camera cut out, but we're just going to do a quick outro. Hope you all enjoyed our review of chapters 11 through 20. Catch us for the rest of the book. I think I'm going to go ahead and skip a week and then try and just finish out the book, so it's going to be 3 parts. And we'll do 21 till the end, I guess. Catch us in maybe like 2 weeks, I guess. You can also find us on TikTok. We are Late Paper Dreamers on TikTok and Instagram. We do poetry. Alexandra is an actress. She does really, really great voiceovers for us, and I'm trying to get better at editing. But yeah, I think they'll be really cool. I write the poems, she reads them, and yeah, just vibe with us, and we'll try to get more experience with social media and things like that. Check us out. Our intro is by our friend MIC. He's a DJ, and he does really, really great work. Watch his stream. I'm going to plug him to the end of the days, but our outro is by him. If y'all want to hear it, check it out. Listen to it. Peace. Y'all have a nice day or night.